Welcome back to Cognitive Minds. So we were discussing about different types of phyllotaxy. Now, in this lecture, we will cover up with the leaf venation and some of the functions of the leaf. Okay. So, what do you understand by term venation? Venation is basically the arrangement of veins on the surface of leaf, which is your leaf lamina or the leaf blade. Now, this venation can be of two types. One is called as the reticulate venation, another is called as parallel venation. Ret is similar in word to net. So when you can observe that the veins are arranged in a net-like fashion in a branched order, then it is called as a reticulate venation. But when the veins are arranged like the railway tracks, you must have observed that they are running parallel to each other, somewhat like this. One track is like this, then another track is like this, third one is like this. So you can see that all the three tracks are running parallel to each other. So when they are running parallel to each other, this type of venation seen observed is called as parallel venation, and it is generally observed in case of bananas, grasses, maize, wheat leaves, and you can recall that all these are examples of your monocots or monocotyledons. But here in the reticulate venation, these are observed generally in dicot, and examples are people, mango, guava, etc. Alright, next we come to the functions of the leaf. Now the leaf is performing two functions. First one is the transpiration, another is the photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is basically a process in which the plant is preparing its own food. The leaf is referred to as kitchen of the plant because the leaf is taking the carbon dioxide, the sunlight from the outside, then the water, okay, and it is converting it in presence of a green pigment which is called as chlorophyll. All these things are being converted into the oxygen and the glucose. The glucose is there, then oxygen is there, and you know that we as human beings take in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. And why and what the plant is doing? It is doing just the opposite. It is taking carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen in return. So this is how the plant is preparing food, which is called as photosynthesis. Now, what is transpiration? Transpiration is basically a process through which the plant is losing the water. Okay, so you know that the plant always takes up the water from the roots. Okay, now once the water is reaching from roots to the body of the plant, the water will get evaporated from the surface of leaf due to the presence of heat of sun. And this process of evaporation of water naturally from the surface of leaf is called as transpiration. What is meaning of photosynthesis? It means combining light, water, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, energy, and it gives out glucose and oxygen. Glucose is the food which is stored in the plant. All right. Then what you come across one more term in your book, which is autotroph. What do you understand by autotroph? Autotrophs are those organisms which have the capability to prepare their own food. Auto means self and troph means the food. So the plants or the organisms which have capability to prepare their own food are called as autotrophs. All right. So here in this diagram, you can observe the sunlight which is being taken up by the plant. Then the carbon dioxide is there. Then the water is there, and in return, it is giving out the glucose, and it leads to plant growth, and oxygen is being produced. All right. So here also this equation you will find in your book: CO2 plus water plus C6H12O6 is the chemical formula for glucose, and it gives out oxygen. So this is the equation for photosynthesis. Food is being prepared by the plant not only for itself, but anybody who's consuming that plant, that is the animals and the human beings. All right, and it is giving out oxygen for respiration to the plants and animals. Now the transpiration is further having a cooling effect. Whenever you are going towards, whenever you are sitting just below a tree, what you will observe is a cooling effect, okay, as compared to the surrounding areas. Why this is so? You can take simple example. When you are sweating, okay, and you turn on the fan of the room, what will happen? The sweat will evaporate, and when the sweat is evaporating, then what will happen? the temperature of your body will come down and you will start feeling cold, right? Similar is the case here, that we are saying that transpiration is a type of evaporation from the surface of leaves. So when the evaporation from the leaf surface is happening, the water, when it is converting into gas, it is taking all the heat which is present on the surface of the plant, and in return what will it do? It will produce a cooling effect. And as the water is continuously rising, observe this diagram, that this is a plant and the water is continuously rising from roots to the stem to the leaves, and from leaves it is going to the atmosphere, right? So if the water is continuously rising, it is similar, just like you are drinking a cold drink from a straw. So what will happen? Continuously the water is rising in a straw, right? So when the water is rising, then at that time the the straw which is there, it is creating a pulling force. What is it creating? A pulling force. Now when the pulling force is being generated, that is helping the continuous uplift of the water from the roots towards the upper side, and helps in the distribution of water throughout the body of the plant. So now this pool which is being created is called as transpiration pull. Okay, so what you can observe, the transpiration leads to a cooling effect. It is developing a suction or a transpirational pull, and which is helping the roots to absorb more and more water. Now when the water will be lost, again there will be a signal sent to the root that you need to absorb more water. So the root will absorb more and more water, and water is transported just like this. And water is being used by the plant for various purposes. One of the purposes, of course, the photosynthesis. Here you can observe in the equation that water is required by the plant for photosynthesis. All right, transpiration we have studied, then two significance. One is the cooling effect, another is the transpirational pull. All right, now in the next lecture we'll be studying about the modifications of leaf, and that will be our last topic. Till then, keep learning and keep growing. All right, take care.